Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to add colored slip to your pinch pot using a watercolor brush and your color of choice and a little cup. It doesn't take much to add color to the pinch pots, but you have to have 3 coats of color. A lot of times my students lose track after the first coat because it looks thick and so they can't tell just by visibly looking at it. But it is important because if you don't do 3 coats, it will look streaky after it's fired, and you won't see the benefits of a contrast in carving. And that's what this student did here. They did a really great job applying the blue, and I can tell that they did 3, maybe even 4 coats on this. If you're not sure of the number of coats, I'd rather have you do 4 than accidentally just do 2. So here's what you can do, and I have to do this too because often I walk away from my pinch pots when I'm waiting for them to dry. After you put 1 coat on, you make a little mark with a pencil. You're going to need to write your name on the paper towel anyway. So we saw the setup video. We need a banding wheel, a tile, and the paper towel. Okay, so I have my color. I chose warm green. I'm going to make sure I load up the brush. This is ever so important. You don't want to skimp on this application. So I'm going to load up my brush with the underglaze, and I'm going to start with the inside first. And I could clearly easily handle it without getting the underglaze on myself or my clothes. And I'm going to keep dipping my brush into the underglaze. I tell students, apply it one way, brush one way. This is not a painting where you're painting scenery or landscape. You're brushing it heavy, you're reloading fast, and you want to just make sure you cover well in the first coat. So here's my first coat. Heavy, one way. If you see a little drip or if it runs, you want to get rid of that. You don't want to have any drips or runs or lumps. They will not fire out. They will stay exactly the way they are. So once I'm done with the inside, the first coat, I'm going to put it down on my tile and of course on the paper towel. Now I don't have to worry about touching the pinch pot, and I could keep glazing it. Again, using heavy application. I'm going to keep loading my brush, and I'm going to get the sides. And I can go from top to bottom. You could do one side at a time. I'm making sure not to stir up the clay body underneath. It is important in this stage, as we discussed in class, that your piece is leather hard before you apply this glaze. If you're not sure if your piece is leather hard, by all means ask me and I can help you with that. Leather hard, I have one here that's ready to carve and it's leather hard. I can't move the side. If I try to give it a little hug, it won't move. I can still carve into it easily. I can still add the slip to it. I can even do attachments if I wanted to. I can't model it anymore, and I can't manipulate it into a new shape. So it'll stay nice for me here. It'll accept the underglaze. In a while it will dry. So the underglaze / colored slip needs a while to dry with the first coat because it's heavy. And I can see I've got some drips. I'm just going to fix those before I let it dry, because again, those will stay in the firing process. You'll see those. So I'm just evening it out. Okay, once I can look around and I move the banding wheel so that I can see the base of it, it's going to get underneath the piece. You can see this one here. I'm not finished with this one yet, but it actually comes underneath, and that's fine. We can neaten that up in the end. The one I'm working on now that I've been carving, I took the carving tool and I just neatened up the base so that when it sits on the table, it's just the plain clay. So I've made sure that I've got this one heavy coat on. I'm good for now. I need to let this dry. It takes a while. I'm just going to make a little check mark. That means I've got 1 coat down.